For more than 4 decades, the J.W. Knapp's department store was an anchor of a vibrant downtown Lansing, an impressive example of Art Deco construction. Today, the Eyde Company is restoring this building back to prominence.
Eyde Company is a real estate development firm started in the 1950s by my father, George Eyde, and my uncle, Louis Eyde.
Over the years have expanded into several other states and continue to do real estate, from doing single-family subdivisions to buildings like the Knapp Center.
Knapp Center was the main department store for downtown Lansing from about 1935 to 1980. From a historic standpoint, the building itself and that piece of property are really significant, I think, in Lansing's history and the history of the country as well.
The building is noted as one of the most important Art Deco buildings in the Midwest. There's nothing else like it in the greater Lansing area, and certainly nothing in the region.
That building and kind of its architectural significance in the downtown Lansing cityscape really started a lot of brainstorming within the company. We thought, what's the best thing we can do with this building? How can we make this building a part of what's happening in downtown Lansing?
The Eyde Company faced a unique set of hurdles in renovating the Knapp Center, the least of which was a complicated funding process and the numerous challenges faced when renovating a building that is on the National Historic Register.
The first goal when you do an historic structure is to keep everything that you can. The building used panel systems that were designed and were very probably innovative in the 1930s as far as how they were attached to the building, and the porcelain panels were actually attached to concrete, which attached to steel, and our goal was to keep those panels. Unfortunately, the attachments and the panels themselves had weathered the storm not quite as well as perhaps we would have hoped, or as the people who built it back in the 30s would have hoped. There were some structural issues that became apparent as we were doing our due diligence on the building. That was probably one of the more difficult pieces to have to deal with, is to come up with a replacement system that would look just like it did when it was built in the 1930s, but bring it to current standards and current code requirements.
The atrium that we introduced into the building, the glass block system, making it a clear glass block instead of a prismatic glass block that doesn't allow any sight lines outside of the building. They were all significant obstacles and things we really wanted to pay attention to and make sure that we accomplished something that would make the building work but was also palatable historically.
When the construction dust settles, Lansing residents will enjoy an impressive $36 million preservation and upgrade of the Knapp Center, including 17,000 square feet of retail space on the first floor, 83,000 square feet of Class A office space, 23 high-end apartments, all with outdoor space, a new 67,000 square foot atrium stretching 3 floors, and a business incubator focused on the fashion industry called the Runway.
The Runway is a complete fashion-based incubator from the standpoint that they'll be making the clothing in the space, selling the clothing, and then also having fashion shows to kind of display it.
Top 2 floors will be residential. We have 23 apartments on floors 5 and 6. Offices will be on 2, 3, and 4, and we have many restaurants that are looking, and other retailers that are continuing to explore their options in the building on the main level.
The Knapp Center is more than just an office building or department store to the residents who have grown up in this region. It is part of the community fabric, and the Eyde Company was very respectful of those feelings. The nostalgia for the building led to a series of careful design decisions by the Eydes.
We are very fortunate to live in an area that appreciates and wants to see the restoration of such buildings.
Many architects consider that building to be, if not the best, one of the best examples of Art Deco architecture in the Midwest.
It was important to people who lived here, who grew up here, to maintain the integrity of the building, to leave the coloration that was there, to leave the historic recognition of that building, and not simply reface it and make it something new. Let's recognize and appreciate the existing architectures.
The Eyde family sees the Knapp Center as a crucial component to the redevelopment of downtown Lansing.
Well, I think it's going to continue to make downtown Lansing a destination point, another place where people can actually work, live, and have a dinner, go out, have a drink, and continue that transformation downtown.